Hello there, my name is Carson Bruner. I'm one of the optometrists here at Professional Family Eyecare, and I want to take a couple minutes to talk with you about LASIK today. So LASIK is a refractive procedure, meaning that it corrects for your prescription so you can see clearly without glasses and contacts. What this does is it treats the front surface of the eye called the cornea, because the curvature of your cornea is one of the things that determines your prescription. So if we can change that cornea to the curvature of that cornea to better match up with your prescription, the goal is that you can see clearly at distance without glasses or contacts. So LASIK, what they do is they make a flap on the front surface of your cornea, they lift that flap up, and then they treat the layer underneath it. There is a similar procedure to LASIK called PRK, where there's not a flap made, they essentially just laser off that surface layer. This procedure is a little bit harsher recovery because that layer is not intact and the cornea has a lot of very sensitive nerves that are now exposed to the world. So that's the disadvantage to having PRK versus LASIK, is the recovery process is a little bit more intensive. That layer should heal in a couple days anyway, so it's not very long, but that is a consideration to take. The reason that PRK does exist and has advantages over LASIK is because when LASIK has that flap made, that has a very, very small potential to come loose, and you don't have that potential obviously with PRK. Nowadays, LASIK procedure has gotten so good that that is a very, very rare occurrence and not really a big consideration anymore. But people who are like airline pilots, PRK is the preferred procedure because you don't want a flap coming loose and high up in the altitudes when you're operating a plane with a bunch of people on it, obviously. So I get asked a lot by patients, who is a good candidate for LASIK? And the short answer is, I don't know. What it's going to take is special testing with a LASIK surgeon to determine if you're going to be a good candidate. The main determinant in this is how much tissue has to be taken off and if the cornea can withstand that. So either if you have a high prescription, which higher prescription means more tissue has to be taken off, or if you have a really thin cornea and you don't have a lot to take off to begin with, that might make you not a good candidate for it, because if too much tissue is taken off that cornea, it can warp and it can cause a whole lot more issues that are way worse than what you had to begin with. So there's a lot of information out there online, and I think a lot of it very negative about LASIK. I think the majority of that is coming from candidates that got LASIK that should not have gotten LASIK. Thankfully, we have really great LASIK surgeons in our area here that have been doing this a long time and know how to properly identify those candidates and can tell you if you're not a good candidate, they'll be honest with you and they will let you know. So my personal opinion on LASIK is, I think for those that are good candidates, it's actually a hugely beneficial thing. You can go without glasses or contacts, at least for a period. A lot of those people eventually probably will need reading glasses into their 40s and 50s, but you can at least get a really good amount of time where you can see clearly and you can avoid having to wear glasses or contacts with this procedure. So it's a completely elective thing. Don't feel pressured that you have to have LASIK done if you're content with glasses or contacts, but it's something that I think is out there and could be a very positive thing for a lot of people. So one of the things that we manage here at Professional Family Eyecare, we see a lot of patients in our practice every year that have had LASIK in the past. You know how to evaluate, safety measures on that, and if the LASIK has worked and done its job, and if there's anything else going on there. So this has been a couple minutes about LASIK, and I hope you all have a great day.